What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk, where today we are going to discuss the article from Andy Mitten on The Athletic about Amad Diallo. There's a lot of A's there. Alliteration's always a good thing. We have got an article to discuss. We're going to go in depth on that and his rise to cult hero status at Manchester United. We're also going to discuss the update on Malacia. There's been some interesting things on there. It's been a long time since we've had any kind of update on Malacia at all. So, to get something on him is nice. We're going to discuss Kobbie Mainoo starting for England, which the game kicks off in 40 minutes. Don't worry, I'll be done before then. And then we're also going to discuss 4 more Premier League nominees. So make sure you get involved in the comment section, smash a like on the video, and yeah, let's dive straight into it. So basically, the article from Andy Mitten's quite long. It's got quite a few bits on it. So I've basically broke it down into bullet points and the most interesting bits taken away from that, and then kind of give you my opinion on it, get your opinion, and have just an overall discussion about it. There's only one place to start with Amad, effectively, and it was obviously the goal against Liverpool most recently, which is sparking everyone's kind of, not interest, because I want to say people were already kind of, people had him in high value, let's just say, for example, like they knew he was a good player, but wasn't sure whether he would cut it at United. I think that's probably fair to say. Me, on the other hand, I've always believed in him. And this isn't some kind of self-righteous, like, I told you he was good or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But if you followed the channel on a frequent basis, you will know that I've been a huge supporter and admirer of Amad Diallo. So I'm happy that he's starting to come to prominence now in front of people's eyeballs, and they can see, for real what kind of player he is and what he's about. And that moment against Liverpool, regardless of whatever happens now with Amad, whatever happens, it will go down as that'll be like a moment that people will never ever forget, because that was one of the greatest games ever, and probably definitely the season's best moment, beating Liverpool, knocking him out of the FA Cup quarter-final. I mean, it doesn't get much better, bigger than that, unless it was like a final, which happens once every fucking 100 years or whatever you want to call it. And despite, facing numerous challenges and, injuries, language barriers, tough loan spells, he has, persevered through this journey all the way from, Ivory Coast. There was a background of him being smuggled and stuff, being like trafficked. Sorry. Difficulties in Italy over COVID. He's been through loads and loads of stuff, which maybe a lot of people might not be aware of, to be honest with you, because even though I follow Amad, I followed his loan spells and stuff like that, I wasn't aware of some of his background stories. So I thought that was interesting to see in the article from Andy Mitten. There was talk about his coaches who have closely guided his development, focusing on improving his understanding and technical abilities. Because if you look at him as a player, the fundamentals are there. You play his first touch is, his awareness, is the eye for a pass. All of that is there with Amad. It was the only thing that people were questioning was like his work rate off the ball. And I think he's shown glimpses of that against Liverpool. There was in terms of being in the right position defensively. I touched on before, which is the COVID side of things. So his journey to United involved overcoming post-Brexit work permit issues and navigating challenges through this kind of fucking pandemic. And then he's come over all these hurdles. He's got to United. He's had loan spells to Feyenoord, which have been cancelled off. He had a loan spell to Rangers where it didn't work out, even though he showed glimpses there of his brilliance. And then Sunderland was where he really landed on his feet under Tony Mowbray. The style suited him. He almost become a clutch player for them, scoring in massive moments, scoring some banging goals as well, by the way. I think the one against Luton Town in the playoffs was unbelievable. And Sunderland fans absolutely loved him. You speak to any Sunderland fan, they're like, that kid is going to be a star. Now, it's the Championship, so it's slightly different. You look at the situation with Jimmy Garner, for example, went to Nottingham Forest, was really, really good for them. Then got promoted. We brought him back. Ten Hag didn't fancy him. Sent him out to Everton. Maybe found his level there. With Jimmy Garner, so maybe that wasn't the worst decision in the world. But United's main goal has always been to help Amad transition from this kind of youth superstar to a reliable player at the highest level. Because if you look at the right-hand side for United at the minute, you're talking Sancho on loan, hasn't really worked out since we brought him in. Who's more of that technical player as well. Anthony brought in, hasn't worked out. I think most people would agree with that. Greenwood, everything that happened with that situation, ended up going back to Getafe. Didn't work out. So that position's open. Palistri, we played Palistri there. It hasn't really worked out. I mean, he did okay, but he was dropping like 5, 6 out of 10s in each game. So with this constant failure after failure after failure, obviously having put Garnacho on that right-hand side, that's kind of worked out now because then Marcus gets to play on the left, even though some United fans might tell you they don't want Marcus even starting. So you've got Garnacho where he's kind of found his feet, so it's hard for anyone to get in there now. But Amad on the right-hand side is a player, man. And he should be getting more minutes. I've always believed that. He's had to wait. He's had to be patient. But I think his recent performances of late have, kind of more than indicate that he's ready for the Premier League, showing this kind of versatility. And he's been being mentored at the moment by like people like Darren Fletcher, and he's got the right people around him. Who, Darren Fletcher, for all these people might criticise him or whatever. He's done his badges. He's experienced, all the times at Manchester United, come up through the ranks. Wasn't the most talented player. I mean, you probably say Amad's more talented in terms of natural ability, but he had a decent career at Man United, and that can't be overlooked for me. So he's got even people in the team around him, like Amad's mentioned people like Bruno, and I know when he first came there was Pogba and Eric Bailly who was helping him because of the language barrier and stuff. So it's taken him time. Not every player that comes into a club just hits the ground running. Do you know what I mean? What's that comment there? What phone are you streaming with and how much was it? I really need to know. I'm on an iPhone. Hello, it's Zane. Could you wish my son Mike Ox... Oh. Almost got me there. Thanks. You got to get me, on a Sunday to be getting that kind of stuff. Anyway, Amad Diallo. People are distracting me. Let me get the YouTube comments up because that's where... I've got the YouTube live up. I need to get the... I've not even got the comments up. I always do that. I go live and could just completely forget about the fucking comments. Where's... This one, I think. There we go. Got it up. Charlie Malman, that is 1.5 years. I feel terrible for Malacia. Hope Manu gets minutes. 45 minutes, no more. Man Lutat says the pre-buying study on Malacia's wasn't done properly. I'm going to talk about Malacia in a moment. Very, very shortly. But let's just give Amad his flowers... for the meantime. Whether he'll have a future at Manchester United or not, I'm not entirely sure, but I think he's at a bide his time. He's definitely deserved more minutes, despite what people think of Erik ten Hag, despite what people think of the player, because Facundo Pellistri got minutes. Is Facundo Pellistri any more talented than Amad? I don't think he is. I think at times there's been questions about his work rate off the ball. I know the lads on Talk of the Devils have discussed that. Like, there was some concerns there. But you saw in that game against Liverpool alone in extra time, and I know he came on as a cameo sub, he's willing to put the work in. He got back, made a couple of important tackles, and then had the pace to keep up with Garnacho, by the way, to get up to the other side of the pitch and score that massive goal for us. So now it's kind of the international break has come at the worst time for him, hasn't it, really? Because... after getting that goal, the next thing you want to do, you just want to get the next game as quick as possible and keep that momentum. But it is a bit of a momentum killer. It's nice to sit on it. I mean, I'm sure like a lot of us, we all kind of have our own favourite player and stuff and people we want to succeed. But I think as long as we're winning and people are playing well, I don't care who plays. I don't individualize it like that. I just want the team to win, and you always will win with better quality players alongside you. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on him. I'd love to hear what everybody else thinks in the comment section. So make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to move on to Tyrell Malacia now because this has been a long time coming. This kid has been injured since mid-June, I think, was the last game he played. In a friendly for the Netherlands. And we haven't heard anything, really. We've had a couple murmurs. I know Erik ten Hag likes to keep injuries on the down low because it was a certain thing that he did when he was in the Dutch league about, keeping respect for players and and all this kind of stuff. It's a thing that they like doing. They don't like letting opposition teams know what area of weakness it is so they can target it when the player comes back. I think it was something to do in the realms of that anyway, why he doesn't give much information on players' injuries. So no one's really known what's been up with him. There's been conspiracies, there's been milk cartons with his face on it being drawn. And And there was quite a significant post today. So something came out the other day saying he was struggling with his mental health as well as physical, and quite a detailed kind of thing on it. And then there was something that came out from the Mail Sport today, which, take it for whatever it is, saying that Tyrell Malacia's difficult recovery from double knee surgery means he is unlikely to make his comeback before the end of the season. However, reports in Germany over the weekend claiming Malacia's problems to be as much mental as physical are somewhat wide of the mark. While Malacia has had to overcome the psychological challenges typically involved in any long-term rehab, the injury itself and several setbacks in his recovery are the reason he's not played at all this season. Malacia has had problems with a damaged cartilage meniscus in his knee. He has spent some time at his home in the Netherlands after surgery, but he has been working on his recovery at Carrington and is focused on getting fit for the start of next season. But to miss that long without any clarification, it's mad, isn't it? It's absolutely mad. We've needed desperately a left back. The decision, there was something that came out the other day about Eric Ten Hag got told by his medical staff that he can let Serge Reguilon go back to whatever club it was, back to Tottenham. Obviously, he's playing at Brentford now. He could let him go back because Luke Shaw and Malacia will definitely be fit for January, and they was way off the mark because Luke Shaw, well, with Shaw it's different, but Shaw's now out to the end of the season pretty much for the last couple of games, and now Malacia's out until next season. You're like, Jesus Christ, man, what is going on here? So we're without a left back, really. We're lucky Wan-Bissaka's just come back. But even that's risky in itself because then you're playing two right backs in both positions. If one of them gets injured again, you're short either side. So it's been a fucking nightmare in that sense. And we let Alvaro Fernandez go out on loan as well at Benfica, who apparently hasn't impressed from what I've seen. And I think something that's come out is that we are going to buy a left back regardless of what happens with Malacia in the window. So they're obviously concerned about it. It has hindered our season because you talk about left-footed players. Eric Ten Hag is someone who likes a lot of balance in his team, and when you're playing Victor Lindelof or Amrabat at left back, it just changes, the whole script in terms of how you want to set up. So we have missed him. I feel sorry for him because being out for that long for any footballer is horrible. Talk about Lissandro being out for 6 months and then going back again and getting injured. Luke Shaw being injured, out again. Mason Mount injured, out again. Like, we've had no luck at all this season. We're really, really not. And I hope he comes back fit, fighting, mentally ready. And I hope he's okay because, yeah, like I said, it's been a tough old long road for him, Manny, but hopefully he's back soon. So smash a like on the video for Malacia. Right, Kobbie Mainoo, another one. England kick-off in around 20 minutes' time, I believe it is, or 25 minutes' time. Kobbie Mainoo is getting his first start in an England shirt, which is amazing news. I'm absolutely buzzing for him. I'm sure his family will be very proud. He, of course, got some minutes against Brazil recently and showed in 20 minutes why he should be starting over Conor Gallagher every single game, because Conor Gallagher was stinking out the place for the majority of the match. Misplaced passes, odd runs off the ball. He's just a bit of a industrious player for me. Conor Gallagher he ain't got the star quality like Mainoo was. And you saw as soon as Mainoo came on, composure, taking the ball in tight spaces, picking out passes, linking up with Declan Rice and other players around him. Like, there is serious talk about the midfield, or there should be serious talk about the midfield. Mainoo, Rice, Bellingham. That is the midfield you should go with. The only exception, for me at least, if you're not going to go with that midfield, is if you play Foden in there. If you want to go attacking, which Southgate is never going to do, you play Foden, you play Bellingham, and you play Rice, and you have Foden and Bellingham being the attacking players dictating everywhere in the final third, because they're killers. They're absolute killers. But we know Southgate likes to play with a double pivot, so he's going to go two defensive midfielders, and then Bellingham as the attacking player, maybe Foden on the wings with Saka and Kane, right? So Kobbie gets his first start against Belgium. Good team. Got good players in there. I'm not sure who's starting for Belgium, actually. Let me have a look, because I'd be interested to see who he's coming up against in the midfield. Let's get a look. I think Kevin De Bruyne is out in here, so he won't be in there. But he's already played against De Bruyne recently. I'm trying to think. Who would be... Amadou Onana, potentially? Is he a regular starter for Belgium? Typically, they do have really, really good midfielders, Belgium. Right, they can't get out there. So let's... think about Moussa Dembele, Kevin De Bruyne, or Witsel. is still a top player. England versus Belgium. Sorry, I really want to see who they've got. So Belgium are starting with Sels, Castagne, De Bast, Vertonghen's still playing. My God. Onana, Tillemans, and Mangala. Yeah. So quite a tough midfield that. I'd be interested to see how he gets on. I mean, Rice, Bellingham, and Mainu. Woo-hoo. Is that who we're playing with? Bellingham, Rice, Mainu, Foden, Bowen, Tone. Yeah, I don't know why Mainu's put on the left in this graphic. So, yeah, Bellingham's going to be the more deployed further up. It's going to be Rice and Mainu in the pivot, and then Foden on the wing, Jared Bowen on the wing, Ivan Toney up top, and then they've got Konsa, Dunk, Stones, Chilwell, and then Pickford in net. So, yeah, buzzing for him. You know, to think that he's only played 15 games in the Premier League this season is absolutely insane, isn't it? Nuts. You know, he's flying in life right now, and he's got the perfect temperament and mentality to deal with it. And I think he's only going to grow. He's only going to get better. His value is only going to increase. He's going to be a star. You know, Louis Walsh, we see him in the X Factor going, "You're sailing right through to the final. You've got diva. You're a star. You're all this kind of stuff." He is. He's top level Mainu. So yeah, look forward to watching him in around 20 minutes time. Let us know your thoughts on Kobe starting and the team in general and how you feel about him going to the Euros. If you think he's ready to start, let me know in the comment section, whether you're watching this live, whether you're watching this on YouTube live. Vertical, I mean, that you guys in the comments there. Let me know. Let me know how you feel about it. We're going to discuss the Premier League Hall of Fame nominees. Now, yesterday we did 4 players. We did Eden Hazard, Gary Neville, Yaya Toure, Sol Campbell, I think it was, and Ashley Cole had already been inducted. Now, the next 4 I'm going to discuss, because there is like a list of players. I'm going to discuss Michael Carrick, who's on there, Andy Cole, Jermaine Defoe, and Cesc Fabregas, who have rightfully so been put in the hat as a bunch of names to be picked. So Michael Carrick, 481 appearances, 24 goals and 40 assists, 5 titles with Manchester United. Now, the goals and assists is something you don't even look at for a player like Carrick, because he was just way much more, you know, it's like a kid telling you, look at his goals and assists that he got. It's like, that is irrelevant to the type of player that Michael Carrick, like a midfielder who was unobtrusive to the extent that he may not stand out for fans alike, but for his teammates and for opponents, he was one of the best in the centre of the park. I think the majority of people could probably agree with that. Calmness, authority, whatever midfield he was sat, and you know, him next to Scholes, him next to Hargreaves, whoever it was he was playing against, he was unbelievable. The way he passed the ball, you know, just a criminally underrated player for me. I don't know why. You know, you look at the England generation, golden generation, should I say. They always talk about Lampard and Scholes and Gerrard, you know, trying to squeeze him in the same team alongside Beckham. They was playing Scholes on the left and stuff. And every single one of them said if they would have just played Michael Carrick in that midfield, it would have been way more balanced and he would have been able to control games a lot more. And that says a lot about Michael Carrick for me. Integral player to a system. You know, you talk about your Pirlos, your Busquets. They are the type of the prototype that teams need, and they're also the unsung heroes who don't get mentioned enough because they don't score goals or they don't clear a ball off the line, you know, or you can't get like a clean sheet record or whatever it is. Like, it's arguably the most important position, I would say. Now, obviously, goalkeepers and strikers, they're the ones who win your games. I get that, but I'm saying, like, in terms of how integral it is to the system, the middle of the park, the central defensive midfielder, as we will know as United fans, is mega. And if we could bring a prime Carrick back to this team now, my word. Yeah. I mean, maybe we get exposed in the system that we're playing, but on the ball, he was absolutely phenomenal. So absolutely, he should be in the hat for there. Another United player, Andy Cole, 414 appearances, 187 goals, 73 assists, 5 titles. Came alive in the penalty area, top finisher. He's helped United to 5 Premier League titles. Was the first player to score 5 times in a Premier League match when he started the 9-0 victory over Ipswich Town, which I think we'll all remember. His goal against Tottenham Hotspur on the final day of 98-99 regained the title for the treble-winning side. His partnership with Dwight York was iconic, you know, kind of revolutionised the 4-4-2. Well, they didn't revolutionise the 4-4-2, but I'm saying they're a prime example of what 2 really good strikers and how they can combine. For me, it was it's weird because obviously I think Andy Cole left in 2001. I was 6 years old by then. So I never feel like I can fully appreciate a player. Now, of course, we can all go back and watch clips and highlights and even full matches nowadays. But you don't get the feeling at the time like I would now from a Mainu who's coming through, or Garnacho, or, you know, Rashford, who have been watching for a long, long time. I have more of a connection with them but Andy Cole is just so underrated, man. I mentioned his stats there. 187 goals in the Premier League, 73 assists, 5 league titles. You know, you don't get them numbers for nothing. Absolutely should be considered. I remember we had Jay Motti on recently, and I asked from Paddock, and I asked him, who do you think is the most underrated player? And he always says Andy Cole. He always says he never ever gets his flowers. And Andy Cole was always one of them guys who he never really brought it up. He always, you know, just let the people talk. But he is the one probably out of everyone in this list who I think deserves it the most, just in my opinion. We've got another striker here, Jermaine Defoe, 496 appearances in the Premier League, nearly 500. 162 goals, so he ain't far behind Andy Cole himself, and 33 assists across 8 spells at 6 different Premier League clubs. He became a fan favourite thanks to his ability to score on a regular basis. This is what's on the Premier League. His 162 Premier League goals are the 9th highest in the competition's history, and it was only at Bournemouth he failed to reach double figures. As well as being a great goal scorer, Defoe was a scorer of great goals, with 22 of his 162 goals coming from outside the box. This guy was a real bad man up top. You know, I think the fact he's never won a major title is a little bit of a stain on his legacy. But when you're talking about a pure striker who's deadly, quick, powerful, intelligent, you know what, with Jermaine Defoe, I'd probably compare him to someone like a Vardy. I think when you talk about poacher's instincts, when you talk about sharp finishing, ability to find space in the box, you know, pounce on a mistake, them kind of strikers, Jermaine Defoe fits that bill, and he's a clinical finisher and all different types of finishes. Someone who should definitely be considered, but again, when you talk about trophies and things what players have won, he's not in the realm of like an Andy Cole, you know. So for me, yeah, should be considered without doubt. One of the top strikers in the league. A bit of nostalgia with him as well. I think you remember all like this means nothing in terms of like his legendary status, but I'm talking like nostalgic, like stickers, Jermaine Defoe shiny stickers in matchbooks and stuff like that. Yeah, top player, and without doubt should be considered. This next player, baller, absolute baller. Cesc Fabregas, 350 appearances, 50 goals. In fact, before I get into that, because he's the last nominee, I just want to double check the chat, just see if any of you guys have popped anything in there. Charlie Malman says, Amad ran up Nunes and made Nunes look like a proper clown. Saint says, have you gone live twice on YouTube? You're streaming vertical on YouTube. Yeah, I have. David Pearson, I'm beginning to think Man United's medical staff is just some guy with a mallet. Phil Jones, Luke Shaw. Exactly, David, exactly. 2 caps for Mainu, which is awesome. There's a story that the players have been told by the doctors not to play, and they've gone onto the pitch anyway. This is how Wan-Bissaka got destroyed. He did not listen to the medical team. 8 minutes of play and got injured. Cole, like Carrick, was underrated. I'm a massive fan of Cole. He scored buckful of goals and did not take pens. Are you on about Joe Cole? Oh, Andy Cole, obviously. Why would you be on about Joe Cole? So, yeah, the last one, guys. This is what I'm going to talk about. Cesc Fabregas, man. What a fucking player. 350 appearances, 50 goals, 111 assists, and 2 Premier League titles. Joined Arsenal, and as a 16-year-old, broke a record, I think it was, for the youngest player to start. Won 2 league titles with him, and then won a league title with Chelsea, I think it was. Was it? No, did he win a league? I don't think he won a league with Chelsea. I might be wrong. I don't know. Someone double check that. Yeah, when he started the game, he was age 16, 177 days, become Arsenal's youngest ever first-team player, and then broke another record as the club's youngest ever goal scorer. Unreal technique, sublime creativity, a knack for scoring crucial goals, flourished under Wenger when he first came in. Again, another player, I'm like, this is almost like the most underrated list. Michael Carrick was underrated. Andy Cole was underrated. Cesc Fabregas, for me, was underrated. He never really gets mentioned, ever. When he moved to Chelsea, he assisted 18 goals in his debut season, the 3rd most assist of any player that has ever registered in a single Premier League campaign. And then he finished his career with 111 assists, the second most in history. Crazy. A guy who does not get spoken about enough. Vision, passing, football, intelligence, creativity, leadership, versatility, big game performances. Cesc Fabregas was the one. And I don't want to make this look like I'm piping him off, but he was a very, very good player. And another one who does not get his flowers. You know, I think people are just... I don't know what it is. I feel like people are just quick to forget, aren't they? There's so much recency bias at the moment when people tend to compare even players from like 10 years ago. Like, oh, he's not as good as like Haaland is now, or he's not as good as this guy is now. And all these players recently are doing incredible things. It's a much different game it is now, even to like 15 years ago. But these guys, it's like Roy Keane said on Stick to Football, like they're still amazing tempo and pace and quality in games in the 90s. People just look at it back and they go like, oh, it was just a fucking kick it up the pitch and that's what it was. Like, nah, man, there was some quality matches in there. And the majority of the players, to be fair, I mean, Cesc Fabregas, he didn't retire, you know, I think as a coach now, didn't retire too long ago. Jermaine Defoe, probably 10 years ago, I'm guessing, somewhat along the lines of that. Andy Cole, don't know when he retired. I know he left Man United 2001. Michael Carrick was still playing, I believe, was it under Van Gaal and then under Mourinho, maybe, a little bit. And then obviously became a coach with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So, you know, these guys didn't play too long ago. You know what I'm saying? I think out of them, Andy Cole definitely deserves to go on there. And there is a bigger list. You've got Les Ferdinand, Michael Owen, Nemanja Vidic, and a few others who I'm definitely going to discuss. But if we're talking these four nominees that I've just mentioned there, you know, come on. Andy Cole has to be on it, doesn't he? For sure. Let me know your thoughts, though. Please get your comments in. Do smash the like on the video. Just thought I'd do a quick live. If you're just joining or if you're watching this later on, do scroll, well, if you're just joining, scroll back to the start of the video where I talk about Amad Diallo, because I think Andy Mitten has done a fantastic article on The Athletic. Do go give that a read if you are an Athletic subscriber. Top article. I know these things take ages to do, getting stats, facts, left, right, centre from everywhere, and he's done a really, really good job on it. So I would implore people to go check that out. It's a great read, especially if you're a fan of Amad. Just to see his story and his come up, and you know, to get to where he is at the moment. Look at him; he's just there on your right hand side. Yeah, fabulous article. There was an update on Malacia that we've spoken about today, and then the Premier League nominees. There's going to be 4 more tomorrow that we discuss. I'm not sure who's going to be on that list yet, but we'll get into that. We've obviously at some point going to have to do the Brentford preview, which will be on Friday, I think. Maybe we'll do it Thursday. Yeah, we'll do Brentford preview Thursday because obviously the kickoff at 8 o'clock on Saturday, so we can actually talk about some football again, other than international football, which is, of course, it kicks off in less than 15 minutes. And yeah, apart from that, stay locked in. You can see all the socials above me there. Or, well, obviously, if you're on the YouTube vertical, you can't. But check us out on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. Subscribe to the channel and take it easy, guys. I'll see you lot in the next one. Take it easy.